Venus, and welcome to Dear Venus. We're going to see what you need to see clearly today and look into the minds and the hearts of people you need to know better and just fix up your life in general. So let's have some fun. Hey, everybody out there in Radio Land, how are you doing? This is the Dear Venus show, number 163, and it's August 18th, 2021. And as usual, I had a big scare before the show because I couldn't hear anything. And we've been scrambling, Brian and I, to get this fixed. I hope you can hear me. So here we go, just as though you can. I'm live on air every Wednesday, of course, at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. I'm on inflowradio.com, I-N-F-L-O-W radio.com. And I'd love to have callers. I'd love to hear your stories, what's bothering you, if you have problems with people, alive or dead, romantic, career, whatever, animals. I have visions, I see things, I hear things. I'm a good telepath, an empath. I work with energies that I call mojos. Often throw them out during the show, so you'll probably get a good whack of them. So give me a call if you want some personal work on air for free. And I guess you want the number. Are you ready? Call the show at 760-456-7277. That's 760-456-7277. And again, I'm only live on the radio. I'm live the rest of the time, too. On the radio, Wednesdays, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern, different times around the world. Of course, everything's podcasts on iTunes, on the Inflow radio site, all over. You can find me everywhere. So, yes, I have private readings. I do a lot of private readings if you don't want to air everything in front of everyone around the world. I do Skype, I do phone, I do WhatsApp, I do other things. And you can have a private reading with me by the minute, as many minutes or few as you want. To find out all about that, what I charge, what I do, how to reach me, go to godisalwayshappy.com. That's my website, godisalwayshappy.com. And you'll have a drop-down form. If you fill that out, you get a free mojo, a recorded one. And also, you're on my mailing list. And I do send out a newsletter, Note from Venus, periodically, very periodically. And I do give away free readings there and free paintings, mojo, art paintings, lots of energy in them to help you with your lives. And what else? Have I missed anything? I'm a little rattled because I couldn't get on air. All right, I think that's enough. Oh, yes, I do a free reading. I choose a name every week, every show, for a free reading with me, free private reading with me. If you're on the mailing list, you have a good chance. So let's get started, shall we? And let's see what happens. All right, well, let's just start with some family news, since you always seem to be interested in that. Well, with my sister Candy's family, as you know, her daughter had COVID. And was in the hospital, in and out, and then she still has, blood clots in her lungs, but she's doing well. And her 2 kids got it from her. Her husband was vaccinated. The rest of them weren't. The kids are too young for vaccinations. But now, Riker, he just turned 12, couldn't get a vaccination, but he just turned 12. He's got COVID now, and guess what? He's also got lice. What a combination. Poor Candy. So she's going down to take care of everybody once again. And, oh my, another Elaine story, cousin Elaine, the story about that. You got to keep up with my family here because I can't go back in time and review everything. But basically, she and Robin moved in to my studio and I had to ask Elaine to leave. Robin had already left. They had a falling out. And, so I'd asked Elaine November. I said, you can stay through May or to May because of the pandemic. You can make your trailer, turn it into a real house. And I cut her rent way low. I did everything possible for this person. I said, but you've got to be out by May, and you have to have all your stuff off the property by July. Tons of stuff, because she had all these organic gardens, and my shed's full of tools and worm farms and potted plants and you name it, everything you can imagine. Well, she hasn't done it. She's gotten some off, but not everything. And she has ups and downs. She's a lovely person. She's a sweetheart. She's my cousin. But she's had a hard upbringing that she can't get over, can't let go of it. She's old enough. She's like 72 or thinks she has some mental issues. So sometimes she's really wicked and hateful to me and other people. She gets rid of everybody out of her life. It's some kind of weird thing. So now I'm it. So I had her come over. I told you about the big safe that was in my closet that the girls left, this huge, heavy safe. And we found something in it that was really watery, a couple of things, big things with horrible mold or something growing in it, just disgusting. I had her come over and get it and take it out of the studio. So I said, let's put a blanket under it and haul it out. No. I won't hurt your floors, and get out of here. Leave me alone. So I did. She brought in a dolly, as I found out later, and she hauled it out. But she never shut the door to the safe. And I may have told you this whole story because I'm so upset I keep running it around in my head. And she dropped all this liquid, whooshed all over my wooden floors and down all of the patio and out into the driveway and the asphalt and all the way down the road, and it won't go away. I don't know what was in there, but I can't get rid of it. So she's ruined my floors and my outside, and I'm not happy about this. And I just texted her about that and then said, you got to get your stuff out. This is it. I'm done, So then she tells me that she couldn't get back because she's had COVID for a week, and she was here with me when she was shouting at me and, being abusive and etc. So I was exposed. I don't know if I can believe her or if she's just trying to upset me. I'm vaccinated, and so far I'm fine. But I thought this might be a good time to tell you this little story. I have a nurse friend who's also a client of mine. And several years ago, she was telling me that before people really knew about COVID, it was here, but they didn't know about it. She said she was taking care of an older man, and she leaned down to hear what he had to say, and he just coughed full in her face and blew in her face, and turned out he had COVID. She said she didn't get it. And she said, here's what you do. She said, I've been taking this Chinese herbal remedy for years. It prevents, cuts off all viruses. You stay healthy, especially if you start to feel bad and you take it right away. She said, you got to get it. You got to get it. I know that's what saved me. So I'm going to tell you what it is. And I have some, if I need it, I'll take it. So you might want to write this down. It's 2 words, WINCHIAO. It comes in a small green and white box. Has Chinese writing on it. I get it on Amazon.com. And just thought I'd pass that along because things have really whipped up out there. You can't be too safe. Well, and I'm still looking for an irrigation man and a gopher man, and I think I probably whined about that last week. I don't know what it is. I had 2 irrigation men that were going to come out, but they keep putting it off, and they cancel, and obviously they don't want the job. I'm having trouble getting a gopher man. I have one coming out. That's one of the Jonathans I told you about. We'll see how that goes. It's just been like this, just little things that just bother you. Nothing's working out. Polly, would you like to know about my sister Polly? Well, I know you always like the Polly stories. Well, she's like 74, something like that. Dr. Ron died a number of years back now, and she tried a few dating sites that didn't work out. Oh boy, I'm reading a hot book about that. I'll have to report to you back next week about online dating sites and what to do and because I deal with a lot of people who have trouble with men and women sometimes. And this book is eye-opening, so listen in next week. I don't have time for it today. So anyway, one of Polly's tenants has a father-in-law whose wife just died. She had cancer, a long, slow, awful death. And she wants him to meet Polly. And she was going to get them together. He's looking for somebody. And Polly's saying, geez, I don't know if I want to get involved with a man. But she was kind of excited, but kind of not, just really nervous. And, Polly has this problem. You know, there's a word for it. I can't remember it, but she took Cipro, the antibiotic Cipro, and it really ruined her body, ruined her guts. It works on the cells, whose name I can't remember at the moment. It'll come back to me somewhere in the show. And she's been trying to get help for a long time. She's been floxed. That's the word. She's been floxed. And one of the problems is her guts, and she has terrible attacks of diarrhea. I mean, any place, anywhere. So we got a text the other day saying she was down the mountain. I think it was Home Depot, and she was in a bathroom on the pot, and she was stuck and didn't know how long she'd be on there because she never knows when it's going to happen or when it's going to happen again. So anyway, she complained to her tenant that she didn't think she wanted to meet this man. Well, in the main, it's because she's afraid what might happen, you know. So apparently they're not going to meet now. She says, I guess I discouraged meeting him. So I have two minds about that. But I was thinking about it, and I said, Polly, with at least that symptom, I think the Cipro must have killed all your good probiotics. Just threw everything out of your system, burned it out. I said, I'm thinking of getting a fecal implant. It used to be that people would donate their stools, healthy people, and give them to their neighbors to use to put them up their bum if they needed good bacteria and be healthy like the person. It really works, but you know, it's kind of messy and kind of dangerous. You don't know who you're getting, what you're getting. So now medical people are doing it. Polly said, yeah, she was going to talk to her gut doctor. He'd been really excited about fecal implants the last time she talked to him. So we'll see if that works out. And I hope that helps somebody who's been floxed or is having terrible trouble with their guts. Try a fecal implant. Could change your life. Okay, so moving along, let's talk about my brother Jim's life. We're going to talk about more edifying things here in a few minutes, but I want to get through all this because all of you say that's your favorite part. Hard to believe about the family, but here we go. I got this from Helen. She emailed me. She listened to the radio shows, and she said, how did your brother Jim's colonoscopy go? I always say that wrong. Colonoscopy, you know, you get all cleaned out, takes you days, it's horrible, and then they put something up you and see if you have anything going on up there that you shouldn't. She said, or did he go through with it? I tell you what, she said, I'm glad I did mine when I did, because there's no way you'd be getting me anywhere near a Florida hospital, or probably any hospital right now, because I'm speaking, the Delta virus is going crazy, especially in Florida. And so what I told her about Jim's colon was, well, you know, he was all set to go down there. He was much complaining and much disturbance about all the things he was having to do to clean out. He was about ready to go down there to get it done when, for some reason, he called with a question. Well, it turns out his exam had been canceled and no one had let him know. Can you imagine? And it was rescheduled for October. October! This is August, and he, I guess, called 1st of August. Poor Jim. And meanwhile, we have the Waiting for Mary saga. And again, I don't remember if I told you about that because there's so much going on. I don't remember what I say. He's gotten himself involved with another woman. We hope it's a woman on one of these sites. And she lives in Chicago. She says she's a hairdresser with a 6-year-old child. She's madly in love with Jim. Why? I don't know. She doesn't really know the guy. He doesn't know her. He sent her money to get a ticket to fly out here. And Polly made her send a copy of the ticket so she'd really bought it. So she's due to come out here. I think it's the 29th of August. And Jim's going to take her to a nice fancy hotel the first night, and then they're going to stay with Polly. This should be interesting, staying with Polly, if she even comes. So I should have an interesting story for you at some point here. And update, Chucky, you know the Chucky story. He's got the girlfriend in Mexico. He's just crazy about Polly meddled in there. She's a woman. She's a working girl. Let's put it that way delicately. I've never met her. She came to visit once. Polly said she's beautiful, very nice. But the way she makes her living is with men, off men. So Chucky's been madly in love with her, and he was convinced that she really loved him until Polly meddled and told her, you can't have Chucky spend that much for a hotel and do all this that you say you need to have done. You got to bring it down to a better price because he can't afford it. He doesn't have the money for that. Polly not realizing or thinking through what she was doing, which caused a horrible flap with Chucky and this woman. And she didn't speak to him after she reamed him out for a couple of months. Well, Polly said he was close to suicide. He's been so despondent. And we're saying, why did you ever meddle? Just stay out of it. I've told Polly and told her, get paid for meddling. Don't do it for free. Anyway, somehow they're back together and Chucky is happy as a ham. Happy. And so I said, please don't ever meddle again. You don't want to get the guy killed. So that's where that sits. Is that exciting for you? Is that exciting enough for you? Okay. I got to take a breath here and see what time it is. Oh my, it's time for a short break. Well, that's good before I move on here. And wow, you're just all stunned and amazed by that. Nobody's called in. I don't have one caller at the moment. What are you thinking? All right, this is your day. Why don't you give me a call? I'll give you that number again, 760-456-7277. Oh, wait a second. I do have people. I was looking at the wrong place. So sorry. I'm still rattled about not getting on air for a while. But call me anyway. You may get in. All right, let's just take a break. I'll be right back. This is Venus Andract with the Dear Venus Show.
Oh, we're on break. Venus will be back in a few moments, but in the meantime, did you know that she's created a full collection of her famous mojos to purchase and download? Yep, they're all at the shop on her website, GodIsAlwaysHappy.com. She's got mojos to get you a new career, for head scraping and to get to the quiet place, for anti-aging to attract money or love, or even to get to sleep. She's got a new one out for protection, as well as another one to have a gorgeous full head of hair. Check them all out at GodIsAlwaysHappy.com in the Mojo shop. Just like Venus, they're always fun, a bit shocking, and powerfully effective. Now, here's Venus again.
Okay, looks like we're back again. I'm trying to calm myself down here. I've been kind of rattled. It's one of those days. I am going to tell you about the next show and who's the winner of a reading with me. As soon as I can get to it here, I'm looking for it. It's just one of those days. All right, the next show is that's not right. Here we go. The next show is number 164. This is August 25th, 2021. And the winner today is Kathy Roediger, Roediger. You get a free 10-minute reading, but you got to let me know that you heard your name on the radio show. The last day to tell me is August 24th, 2021. After that, the offer is void. So I hope to hear from you real soon. You can reach me on God Is Always Happy or directly at venus@venusandract.com. All right, before I get back to everything else, let me just talk to somebody in the studio here and see what's going on out there in the world with somebody. All right, looks like, let's go with Jacqueline. Is that Jacqueline? Central California, Fresno area. Is that right?
Yes. Yes, it's me, Jacqueline, or Jackie, Jack, whatever.
Okay, Jackie Jack. Have I talked to you before?
Never. I have a friend named Monica who's probably listening in Vegas, and she has been telling me for months now to give you a call. So I apologize that I know nothing about your show or you, but I promised her that I would call in today, and here I am.
Okay. Well, we'll just see how it goes since you know nothing. And, I hope you'll listen to my shows. That's all right, darling. I've got a lot of podcasted shows where you can figure me out. Let's see. It says Fresno area. Are you near the fires?
No. The fires, the smoke has come down here because it's a valley, and I'm surrounded by almonds and dust and all that wonderful stuff. But the fires are more north, so I'm in where the smoke decides to land and stay, and so we have dust and smoke, and it's today it's actually in the 90s, and that's a miracle because it's been over 100, for the last 3 months. So this is good. Good
okay.
Day.
Let's get started here. Thank you for the update. What am I going to look at today? What's going on with you, honey?
Well, she said you were a mediator / psychic. My father and my brother both passed away in December, 2 weeks apart from COVID. It was very unexpected. My brother was only 57. He and I lived next door to each other in the last 6 years since I moved home from Ventura and retired. I moved back home, and, we became best friends. I mean, we saw each other every single day, and we were rescuing stray cats. He had 10 cats in his house alone because he rescued them, then he couldn't give them up, so they were his fur babies. And he wasn't married or anything, but luckily I knew all their names and their characteristics and who got along with who and all that kind of stuff. So when I called the ambulance, I had COVID as well. His oxygen level was at 45. And I knew, I had a feeling he would not be coming back home after that. And my dad died on the 9th, and he died on December 24th. And
I'm so sorry about that. So you want me to see if I can find them?
Well, either that, they got buried next to each other. They never got along. So if I just don't know why. I'm sure that my brother, she always wanted to be cremated and thrown out to sea, but I don't know. He never got what he wanted in life. He never got what he wanted in death. And so I feel like I'm responsible for at least taking care of his, my nieces and nephews, so to speak, until I can find good homes for them.
Honey, what do you want me to do? Because I don't have a lot of time on the radio here. What do you want me to do for you?
If he's been leaving signs for me, because I've been noticing things that are really odd, and I'm just wondering if my brother, not my dad, my brother has been trying to reach out to me. I'm just wondering if he can.
What's his name?
His name is Christopher Machado.
Chris? And he's 57, you said?
He would have been 58. So 58, yeah.
Okay. What kind of work did he do when he was alive?
He worked for my dad until my dad retired the dairy. And then he was going to school to get his electronic technician license. He was into electronics. So he didn't really work.
But you inherited all his cats?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I inherited his cat.
Okay, Jackie, let me just go look because we're running out of time here. All right, so Jackie, how old are you? What color is your hair? What do you do for a living?
I'm 60. And for 35 years, I was in advertising and marketing on a national level for major agricultural accounts.
That's good. That's good. Thank you. That's good. All right. So what I'm going to do here, what color is your hair at the moment?
Oh, my God. Funny you should ask. It was bleached blonde, and I just put brown in it. It's naturally medium brown. So it has
that's good.
Streaks.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to do, since you don't know anything about me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come visit you. I can just leave my consciousness. I can still talk. I'm still in my body. I sort of split myself. I'm going to come and I'm going to walk around you and get a feel for you. I may go in your head. If you feel me around you or in your head, don't panic. It's just me. And then I'm going to go find your brother. Okay? and we're going to have a chat. So, okay, well, don't have a heart attack. Don't do that while we're working. Hold that off. Okay, I'm coming over. Jackie. I'm walking around you in Fresno. I have to keep talking because I'm on the air, but I'm working at the same time here. Walking around Jackie. What? That's all right, honey. Just hold still. Just relax. Let me do this. Okay, I'm walking around you. Jackie. Yes, I can see. You feel kind of frazzled to me, like all your strings are sticking straight out. But it makes sense. I mean, you just lost your mom. You lost not your mom, sorry. Your dad, your brother, you got all these cats. So let me go in your head now. I'm just going to be in there briefly. Okay, I'm in Jackie's head. It's like, where do I go next? What do I do? What's going on? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm out. I'm going to just take you with me. I'm going to go find your brother, Chris. Hang on a second. Chris, 57, almost 58. I want Jackie's brother, Chris. Are you out there? Chris. I'm here. Okay. He's here.
What?
He's running, sort of. He's kind of running, and I see a man in like maybe a plaid jacket or something plaid, or maybe a working man's thing. I don't know why he's showing me that. He could wear those, or it may symbolize something about him. Doesn't matter. Okay, we're talking here about the cats and about other things. I'm a friend of hers. I'm a medium. I can talk to the dead. That's why I'm talking to you. You do know you're dead, right? Right, Chris? Do you know you're dead? I have to make sure he knows it. He says, hell yes, I know it. I said, okay. Okay, he says, what about those cats? What's happening with those cats? Is she taking care of my cats? I'm worried about my cats.
Of course.
I said, yes, she's taking care of your cats. Don't worry, she's a good girl. She's taking care of your cats. She needs to know, have you been leaving her signs about things? She said, things are getting kind of odd. Let me just see if he is. He says, I've been trying to break through. He says, it's like a paper wall and you put your hand through it, and you can reach through it. He says, I've been working on that. I've been trying to get through, but I didn't know if she noticed me. I didn't know if she could hear me or if she could see me or whatever. He says, but I'm working on it. Can she? Has she heard things? Have you? What have you done? What I'm asking you, yeah. Jackie, have you noticed? What have you noticed?
There's a specifically, I have an art table in my room in the back. And I woke up one morning, I went out there, and there were two letters, gold letters, a C and an M, sitting out on the table. And I thought, oh, my God, where'd these come from? Chris Machado, I thought. Okay. Then I go in my purse. I find his keys to his car. I never put them in there. And I'm thinking, is he trying to tell me something? And then
he's laughing. He's laughing.
A few days.
He's laughing. Go ahead, hon.
A few days later, I go into his apartment and I hear these little meow, meow. Open up his closet, and I'll be gosh darn if there wasn't two cats locked in his closet because somebody came in and took all his bedding out, and that's where they used to live. And it was Cece and Matt. They were caught in that closet for five days.
Poor things. Okay. It sounds like he was letting you know they were there. Let me talk to him about it. But he's laughing. He feels happy. I get the word vindicated. He said it did work. He didn't know if it really worked. Just because people are dead doesn't mean they have...
It took a while.
Yeah, no, just because somebody's dead doesn't mean they have a clear channel or they know totally what's going on here, especially if they're newly dead, they just don't know. But let me get back with him, listen to him. And he's glad, he's happy, he's laughing that he got through. And he said, really threw you, didn't it? Really threw you, didn't it? In other words, he realized it just, woo, kind of threw you up in the air. You were finding these things and you're all excited about it. And that's part of probably what I picked up on, all this energy you have going here, going there, going everywhere. I would have been excited too, honey. I would have been excited. And he's very happy that he can get through. He says, I'm going to keep practicing. I'm going to see what else I can do. He says, I'm around, I'm here. I want to show you things. I want to tell you things. He said, it's good here. It's really good here. Don't worry about me. He says, I'm fine. I'm happy. I'm happy you're here. He said, but I do worry about the cats and you and things that are going on. So here's what you can do, Jackie. You can talk to him. You can talk to him.
I did.
You can just sit down and talk to him And just imagine that you hear what he says back, and I would bet you're getting what he's saying when he's putting in your head, okay? So you're doing a good job. Bam, bam, bam. That's the mojo. Woo, woo. Good energy for you and for him and your dad. Bam, 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 bam. Woo, 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 woo. All good, all good, all good, all good. Everything works out well for you. All works out for you quickly and easily now. Bam, bam, bam. All right, darling. I got to move along here, but thank you for the call. Okay. That was really interesting, and I'm happy you're. I'm happy you're in touch. All right, darling. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, let me get myself pulled together here. What time is it? I lose time when I can't even see what time it is. Oh, I see what time it is. It's not as bad as I thought. Okay, I'm just pulling my mind together here, if you don't mind. All right, so we got some time here. I got more things I want to talk about. Is that okay? All right, so let me just get back to, I was daydreaming again. You know how I do? I sort of go off into these reveres, and sometimes I just write them down because I think, some of these are interesting to me. Maybe they will be to you too. All right, so here's the introduction to what I've been thinking. I went to my chiropractor this morning, Dr. O, and he said, "How are you?" And I said, "You know what? I feel terrible." He says, "You know what? I do too. I feel awful." I said, "I'm not very good." And I was referring to everything that's happening in the world now. Everything is happening in my life. Everything's just been thrown up in the air. Nothing makes any sense. It just feels so awful. And we chatted, and he's an empath. I'm an empath. He told me, we pick up everything. And if you're one of those, a very sensitive person, you know what I'm talking about. And he said, "You know what?" He said, "Yesterday I just felt flat." And I said, "Yeah, I've been feeling that too, just flat." He says, "And I had a full day of patience. And you know what? I just didn't have it. I had nothing left to give." I say, I know everybody's having that. Everything's just so weird right now. You can't get things done. Things are happening around the world, terrible things that we're being told. And we just talked about all that, and we agreed we were both shot. So it feeds into what I was thinking just the other day. Anyway, before I get into that, he said every day is getting worse for him because he's picking up all the stuff that's happening in the world. And I agreed. But what I want to say is, you in Radioland, you may be also feeling like we are. And with that in mind, here's what I've been daydreaming about lately. And like I said earlier, I can't even get an irrigation man or a gopher man for help because maybe these people are all flatlining and deep in depression too. So here's what I wrote this down because if I don't, I forget it all. But right now in America, it's President Biden and Afghanistan. You probably know about that. After 20 years of getting nowhere but having American service people killed, he has pulled us out of Afghanistan. As you know, the Taliban immediately and unexpectedly took over the entire country. And what a tragedy we feel this is for the women and the girls and for the whole country taken over by mercenary men, the medieval hoodlums who hate women and are aiming to set back civilization by millennia. So why did this happen? I have heard people talk about what's happening now everywhere in the world as a great reset. Well, if you look at it, we've got great destruction with the climate being in distress, the continuous firestorms, massive flooding, tornadoes, volcanoes, earthquakes, destruction everywhere. Politically speaking, Haiti just had a massive earthquake right after their president was shot and killed. And in the United States and in other countries, some politicians, have worked to turn us against each other, and now we are at each other's throats, all for these politicians' own political gain, for their own power. And we have followed them. Yes, they're good people, politicians there, but there are those that are hugely destructive to humankind, and we're dealing with the fallout from some of those now. I'm talking on both sides of the road here, folks. And most of us are on one side or another. We're tearing each other apart. And we have a massive pandemic worldwide that's not getting better, but getting worse with the Delta virus. And another one to follow that's said to be even more deadly. The economy is up and down. We have massive inflation because of the shutdowns with the pandemic and because of the pandemic itself. And it goes on and on and on. People are blaming each other, blaming the president, blaming, getting nowhere but angrier and angrier. Well, I've heard this called the Great Reset, that everything is coming to a head and being purged. Everything is coming out, all the lies and all the things we've done that are destructive to our country and our world, our earth, our friends, and our neighbors. It's all coming to the fevered head of a boil and spewing itself out, a dirty, messy, massive, stinking mess. So what are we going to do? Well, when we think of the world reset, we see what's happening and we know what needs to be done, if we can decide to do it. Instead of screaming and accusing and fighting, well, let's clear it out. Let's all get together and clear it out. It's time. I think this is our opportunity. Well, it's another opportunity again. If you look at Afghanistan and what's happened there, many people in America and around the world, and certainly various politicians, are blaming people, but let's look at it in a different way. As any president does, a president has a lot of things to handle. In this case, he's trying to juggle everything at once, and he probably got some advice that wasn't correct. I'm not excusing him, but what I'm saying is we have an opportunity now. America, since the 1950s, after the war ended 70 years ago, we felt then that we had to take care of everybody in the world. But we should know it's time that everybody needs to help everybody take care of everything. For example, the Russians already went into Afghanistan and made a muck of it before we went in, and now the United States has pulled out because we made a muck of it. Instead of pointing fingers and accusing and blaming, why don't all the various countries of the world get together and say, let's take care of that situation. Let's decide together how we're going to clean that mess out of that country, and then do it. Do it all together. The same with climate change. For whatever reasons that are causing it, is destroying everyone in every country. We all need to get together, all the countries, all the people, and decide what needs to be done, and to do it, to stop it, to prevent it from getting worse. We need to do the same with the pandemic. Everybody in every country needs to get together with their leaders. We need to get together and decide who gets the vaccines, who has the most vaccines, and who can get them to who. And yes, I know there's division about the use of vaccines. But with what we have, we can spread it out, because if even one country is left largely unvaccinated, the rest of the world's going to go down with it. It's the same for anything that you can think of in your personal lives, in your home, in your friend life. Start working together. Find solutions. Yes, you have different political ideas and you even hate each other, but how does that serve you and make your life better? We're having a great reset opportunity, another one. I think as we have had this opportunity throughout recorded history, well, this is the time to clear out all the problems we have with our families, our friends, and all the earth issues. At least get it started. So let's consider doing it all together. Of course, there's going to be some people who refuse because they're not able to see what's happening and how it needs to be handled, but the rest of us can certainly attempt to change our minds and pull together. I say let's do it, one step at a time or all at once. Let's just do it. Change our mindset. Bring love and understanding and appreciation for each other and our different ways of thinking. You know, I look at both sides of everything. I really do. I research, and because of that, I often stand in the middle of something because I see good in both sides and I see the bad in both sides. You know, I try very hard not to be rigid and to understand. I think we have two choices. We can go down with everything and let destruction reign while we complain and fight each other, or do our best to clear and clarify what's happening without rancor and blame, and do our best to lift up and make a better world than we have now. And as a side note, in my lifetime, just my lifetime, we've had many awful things occur. The atom bomb, polio, war, famine, climate and earthquake, disasters, the Vietnam War, on and on. These things have been happening since the beginning of time. I think there have been many chances throughout history for us to stand up and say, well, that's enough. Let's pull together and fix this. But you know what? In the main, people don't seem to do this. We just keep repeating and repeating these things, or worse, over and over, and so many of us have forgotten that we're one being, we're one God. I'm tempted to think that we just don't learn. Either that, or we as God indeed do love all experiences, so we keep experiencing and proving that is true. But bottom line, we keep living like this and worse, or we take technology and all the ways it's changing us and find our adventures as God in making it work for us in novel and exciting ways, but without causing our own extinction. Good things like traveling to the moon, to Mars, to other planets and galaxies, for example. For building wondrous contraptions and healing our bodies in a simple, easy way, as I remember since I was a child, the method to do that. For working as partners with the animals and other earth creatures, for healing our climate and our home, the earth, in adventurous ways, for feeding people and caring for others. Maybe the Great Reset means we have a chance to change in a good way along with all the change and disruption that is giving us that opportunity right now. When I was a kid, there used to be a huge boulder along the road into the entrance of my small town. We passed it all the time when I was in the car with my folks, all the 6 little kids, my mother and dad. We'd drive past then. I'd always read it, because someone had painted on this enormous boulder in huge red letters, "What will it be, heaven or hell?" Well, it strikes me that this question is still pertinent. Maybe in a different way than the author meant it, but it stuck with me all this time, and I feel like it's apt right now in the time we're in. And yeah, I know we are each one small light in the darkness, but the more lights who do their best to glow begins to turn the lights on in a dark room. So let's think about doing that, shall we? That makes me happy when I think that we can do that. If just each one of us lights our candle, you bring them all together and the room starts to lighten up. The earth starts to lighten up. Let's give it a shot. Let's do. I'm tired of this crap, aren't you? I'm just tired of feeling bad. I want to feel good again. Woo, woo, woo! Let's do a mojo for that, shall we? Feeling good again, feeling high and fine, lifting ourselves up out of the mess and being our God self, doing what we can to change things for the better and help and uplift all beings. Woo, 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 woo! And you go up and they go up, we all go up together. Woo, 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 bam, 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 bam. And my sincere wishes for all of you are that you feel good, you're healthy, you're strong, you feel wonderful, that everything is going your way, you're prosperous, you're healthy, you're clear-minded, you feel good, you feel happy, and everything is working out for you easily and quickly right now. Bam, 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 bam. And I really mean it. All right. I'm sort of lost in here. Okay, I think it's another quick advertisement, you might say, a break. Gives me a chance to take a drink of water. I'll be right back, and we'll do some more Venus and Direct with the Dear Venus Show.
Venus has gone on break, and while she's away, let me tell you about her private sessions. Yes, you can talk to her privately, discreetly. You already know that she's really good at looking into people's minds and at moving energy. I know because I'm her daughter, and I grew up with that. Venus is always clear and to the point. She's also gentle and can see things about situations that you just can't. And the best thing is that she'll read for you by the minute, so you decide how long you want your reading to be. So if you've been tormented by a situation that just isn't ending or getting clear, or if you're desperate to know what someone is really thinking or feeling, or if you need some crystal clarity around a situation so you know the best course of action, Venus is the one to call. Also, if you've lost someone you love and you need healing and closure, then you should call Venus too. She even talks to the dead. It's nothing like a psychic hotline. You always know who you're talking to and you can trust her. So go allow yourself to book a session and do it now while it's on your mind. Go to her website at godisalwayshappy.com, look up readings, and make the appointment. godisalwayshappy.com. Now, here's Venus, and back to the show.
All right, so I'm back. I was just looking through Lexi's journal. Thought maybe we could uplift things here a bit. This was January 4th, 2005. Your great-grandpa, Ken Andrecht, It's his birthday. You call him Bumpa. He's your mother's dad and my ex-husband. You have an odd habit of bending over and covering your eyes with your hands. You also make faces and always have. Your grandpa Ken has always made faces. It used to drive me bats. People would say to him, "You've got a handsome face. Why do you make faces and look bad?" You were here yesterday. You were so glad to see Bailey, her little cousin. After a month away, you hugged and kissed her. This is the same Bailey she threw under the stool and tried to beat her up, and the one where she tells him when to go home. You hugged and kissed her. Later, you put her in a headlock. Oh, we haven't stopped that. And threw her under a high footstool again. You also gave her a headbutt with your head. You came to me fake crying, and I told you to knock it off. You were very loving with me and Bill. You even kept calling us Mommy and Daddy. I think you were pretending, trying it out, you know? Maybe it made you feel more secure. As soon as I drove you back to your dad, you were back to your old tricks, ignoring me. Bill has pneumonia. When I first got home with you, he was in his big bathrobe, and I think it scared you as you clung to me. Some of the food you eat at the moment, lettuce, which is a big favorite, and you're on a raw carrot binge, macaroni and cheese, too, tomatoes, avocados, oranges, tangerines, apples, and grapes. You are a big fruit and vegetable eater. Bailey won't eat anything along the line but bananas. Your mom wants to put you in the gifted preschool, but she doesn't know if you're up for it. You're 2 years and 1 month today. Still doing the bottle binky and not toilet trained. You're getting to be such a big girl that you're going to have to give these things up. I'm studying the Course in Miracles and tussling with making a living with the current Soma Life MLM business. I'm so good at MLM, but so done with it. January 22nd, Saturday. Here's the story your mom told me. Your dad, Chuck, was having a glass of wine. You said, "I want some too." Your dad said, "No." You said, "I want some too." He said, "No, it's not for kids." "I want some too." You grabbed the wine glass by the stem and hung on, repeating what you wanted, and your dad saying no. Well, your grip broke the stem of the wine glass, cutting you. Your mom said it was a really good wine glass. And a few days ago, your mom said you figured out how to unzip the mesh over your crib. Your mom put it over your crib a long time ago after you fell out of bed head first into your dirty clothes basket. Well, it was nap time, and I guess you managed to unzip the mesh, and the zipper's on the outside, and you climbed out of bed, opened your door, and trotted out to your mom, very pleased with yourself. Your mom says you're not ready for a real bed as they have to put you to bed at night, kicking and screaming. You beat the walls with your feet for an hour, and you wake up crying often in the night. I remember that. She kicked the wall for hours. I don't know what was going on. Maybe it was a past life or something. Great-grandma, my mother, says you're just like I was. Oh, I was? That I never wanted to go to bed. I always wanted to stay up so I wouldn't miss anything. I'm still that way. I want to know everything that's going on everywhere. Speaking of Lexi again, you say pretty much whatever you want now, but I forget you don't do small talk. When I'm driving you up to Ramona, I chatter away, commenting on things and asking you questions. I don't always get a response. I guess I expect you to chat with me back and forth like you're 20. You're actually more prone to point out things and make comments at your own choosing. Bill has been very ill with pneumonia. I think he came close to death. He hasn't worked for at least 3 weeks, and I wonder when he will again. Soon, in a few weeks, you'll be going to the gifted preschool. Your mom hopes between 7 a.m. and 2:30. Then she has to find someone to watch you from 2:30 to 5:30 p.m. for 3 days as your nanny Zaza has another job. February 9th, 2005. You told me Monday that you're a little red bird. Okay. You're also in nursery school, 7 a.m. until 2:30, as you have a new nanny for 3 hours, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yolanda, who's 43. Your mom is home now at the same time, working or trying to work. You won't let her alone. She got a new great job and can make her own hours. I'm sure you're thrilled. She's setting up web radio for all Hay House's famous authors, and I believe she'll interview them, and she'll also have her own program once a week. She's written 5 CDs on her idea, Flow Dreaming, and will have a book on it out soon. Meanwhile, my Certain Men book is at the publisher, and I'm pulling together a book of my essays called The Witch's Lover, which I never finished, and other true stories about women and sometimes their men. February 13th, Sunday, 2005. Several weeks ago, when Nikki and Bailey were here, you two girls ran all over my property. You told Bailey it's the forest. You come here tomorrow. You like to snuggle up with Bill on the couch and watch cartoons, especially Arthur. March 8th, you're saying, oh man, what a mess, and no way. I think you're getting these from nursery school. You're very chatty and aware. You also have lots of fears, irrational ones. You make me carry you around the property. Scratchy! Eek! Crying about the grasses and the weeds, rocks on the ground, water puddles, dog poop. You are super sensitive. You also made me change your diapers each time you peed yesterday morning. Your dad says you've used the toilet once. You're very interested in whatever one does in the toilet. You're afraid of pee and you're afraid of poop, too. My ex-boyfriend, John, was here for a few days. I'd remarked, poor John, as we watched him working hard outside. So you now call him Poor John. Does Poor John poop? You wanted to know? Later I asked if you liked John. You said, yes, he's my friend. John was very pleased. Your mom started her web radio shows yesterday. She has her own show and also interviews famous media people. Looks like your mom will be famous. I hear she was very good. I couldn't get my computer to pull it on, though. That's me, more computer problems. March 13th, 05, you came to my home Friday with your mom, and you were utterly charming. So at ease and happy here, and so loving with me and Bill. Your mom was impressed. She noticed how happy you are here with us. So much here to do. She also said she's missed being here, that it's so comfortable, something like that. I'm looking at the time. We're almost out of time. I hope you're not saying, oh, thank God. I know. I'm talking about my granddaughter. We just get awful when we do that. We just think everything about them is perfectly wonderful, don't we? So maybe I'll stop here. And I'm going to give you another mojo. I think I need one too. All right, so this is a mojo for peace of mind. Peace of mind and just enjoying life, watching everything goes by as it goes by. Everything, as the Buddhists say, rises up and then slips behind the horizon. Rises up and slips behind. Everything goes. Nothing is permanent. Bam, 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 bam. Go into your quiet place. Bam, 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 bam. Woo, 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 woo. All is good and all is well. Just relax. Everything passes. All this will pass. Just do your best. Let it be. Let it be. Let it be. Be happy. Be happy. And go eat a cookie or something forbidden. Bam, 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 bam. All is well. Woo, woo, woo. And you know what? I think my time is up. I hope you'll join me next week for the Dear Venus show. And, gosh, what's going to happen in another week? I'd like to know. Or maybe I don't want to know. But I'll see you then. I love you all. Venus Andrecht with the Dear Venus show. One request. Would you rate this show on iTunes? If you rate it with stars or comments, it helps other people find the show. So thank you. And I'll see you next week for more Dear Venus.
This show is brought to you by inflowradio.com, the best curated talk radio network for personal development, wellness, spirituality, and conscious business.